If you feel comfortable, close your eyes. Take a deep, long and full breath through your nose, filling up your chest and belly, and then let the air all out slowly and gently. Continue breathing deeply and slowly as you bring up in your mind's eye someone or something you're grateful to or for. Breathe and appreciate. In your imagination, see the person or thing in front of you and fill yourself up with feelings of gratitude and appreciation.
Forgot this bit yesterday. What did Jesus say? That's right. I am the light of the world. I shared this Bible quote with you the other day. I like this quote from Philippians chapter 4 verse 13. Really quite simple. All it is I can do all things. Christians believe that this part of the Bible means you can only fail if you stop trying. And lean on this truth. You can do this with the strength God gives you. Good morning, everyone. The phone's ringing. Try again. So, this week we're learning about how failure can be steps towards success.
Have you ever heard of the expression, if at first you don't succeed, try again? Well, now you have. And if you think about it, you can't try again without failing first. Engineers fail all the time when they're trying to find the best solution to a problem. In fact, failing is really important because it helps you figure out how to make a solution that does work. And to do that, engineers need to find their failed solution's failure point. So, what is a failure point? To answer that question, let's revisit some of the steps we've been using to design and test the possible solutions to a certain problem. We started by picking out a single variable, the angle of the ball ramp. Then we did several trials where we changed the angle of the ramp each time, and we had a few failures along the way. In our first trial, we knocked only some of the pins down. And in the second trial, we got no pins down at all. But on our third trial, we got the outcome that we wanted. Strike! And we decided that our solution was a success. Now, because we took the time to pick out one variable, we could be pretty sure that it had to do with why our first two trials failed. We figured out that when the angle of the ball ramp wasn't right, it sent the ball rolling right into the gutter. Now, in the bowling alley, our solution pretty much either worked or it didn't. But sometimes solutions to a problem work for a while, and then don't anymore. And this point, the point where a solution doesn't work anymore, is called a solution's failure point. To explore this idea, let's look at some different examples. Say you're out in the woods and you need to cross a stream. Fortunately, there is a solution handy, a small wooden bridge. You can take the bridge safely across the stream, right? Oh, but did I forget to mention that you're also driving a bulldozer? Now, that bridge might not work. At some point, too much weight will make the bridge collapse, and that specific amount of weight would be the bridge's failure point. It's the point where the solution wouldn't work anymore. It's a place where an engineer could say, here's why the bridge failed. Let's look into a pretty famous failure point involving another bridge. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge crosses a body of water called the Puget Sound in Tacoma, Washington. As you can see, the current bridge has two decks, one that goes in each direction. But that's not the original bridge. The original Tacoma Narrows Bridge opened in July of 1940, and it looks pretty good, right? It was a solution to the problem of getting people across Puget Sound. That is, until November of 1940. By then, the bridge had earned itself a nickname, Galloping Gertie, and it's easy to see why. Whoa! It turns out that the failure point of the original Tacoma Narrows Bridge was wind hitting it at a certain speed and angle. At this angle and speed, the bridge would twist back and forth. Eventually, it collapsed, though no one was hurt. Once engineers figured out that failure point, they designed and built a new bridge, one that could withstand winds like the one that made Old Gertie gallop. And that bridge is still standing. Thanks to what engineers learned from the failure point of Gallop and Gertie, suspension bridges are stronger and safer than ever. It's a success story that started out in a failure. So, sometimes solutions have a point where they don't work anymore. Engineers call these failure points, and engineers try to find them as they develop solutions for a problem. Really, they want to identify these points before the final solution is put in place. That saves lots of time and money, and sometimes lives. And sometimes failure points are pretty easy to find, and sometimes they're harder to figure out. But when engineers do find them, they learn from them to find even better solutions to a problem. You wonder how they do that exactly? That's another story for another time. Don't fail to meet me back here soon.
I want you to know that failure can be your best friend. I mean, think about it. The greatest successes in the world are people who often had so much pain from a failure that it drove them to much greater success. Did you know those little 3M stickers, for example? Those ones that you see that you can put, I think they're called Post-it notes. You can write on them and put them on something and take it right off instantly. Do you know that was a result of a massive failure by the chemist? He was working at the time to create an adhesive that would last forever, something that you could never pry things apart with, and as a result, he came up with this stuff that didn't work at all. But he was smart enough to say, hey, what could I use this for? How could I use this supposed failure? And he turned it into a multi-million-dollar business. Lee Iacocca, most people would agree, is one of the more successful role models in our country. Now, I got a question for you. How come he's so successful? Because he's a wonder kid? Well, yeah, you could say that. He worked for a company called Ford Motor Company. And he worked his way through the ranks right up to the top, worked his tail off, was driven. What really marked him? His ability to get people to take action, his personal power. He developed skill because he was willing to try almost anything. He wouldn't accept no for an answer. But you know what? He had a little run-in with a guy by the name of Ford, and he fired him. And it burned him pretty good. Now, I got a question for you. Do you think when this company named Chrysler came by and they looked like for sure there was no way they could be turned around, do you think if he hadn't been fired by Ford that he would have taken it? You might say, oh, of course he would. That's the way Lee is. Well, I don't know. According to his wife, she said at the time, he said, honey, I don't think anybody could turn this thing around. She said, boy, well, I bet Mr. Ford will be real happy to hear that. That's all it took. He was so angry from the pain and failure of his past, quote-unquote failure, that he was going to show him that it wasn't his failure, that Mr. Ford made the mistake. Another company that's mentioned, IBM. It all started because a guy by the name of Tom Watson, who worked for a competing company called NCR, got fired by the CEO there also. He got so mad, he said, I'm going to develop a company that will dwarf yours someday. See, welcome frustration. I got to tell you something. When I get frustrated, I've learned to get excited. I've learned to literally condition myself so that frustration creates excitement. You know why? Because when I'm frustrated, I know I'm about to have a breakthrough. It means my brain is searching. If I get confused about something, instead of going, I'll never learn this, my response to that is, hey, I'm about to learn something. Because my brain is searching for a new answer, and if it keeps searching, it's going to come up with one. I believe the emotions that many of us consider negative, like frustration and rejection and pain, can be our greatest friends because they can drive us to success. You know what? Listen, when people succeed, they tend to party. When they fail, they tend to ponder. Now, the pondering, many times we create our greatest successes in life. Just remember, it's impossible to fail. If you try something and it doesn't work, just try something else and learn something from what you just did. As long as you learn something, you've succeeded.
And for many people who have faith, they believe that you can only fail if you stop trying. And leaning on this truth, you can do this with the strength God gives you. Let's share a prayer together. And if you'd like this prayer to be your prayer, it's Amen at the end. You're welcome to look at the candle flame, or you can put your hands and your eyes together. Lord, help us to remember that failure are steps to success. Give us the strength to keep going, even when we find something hard. because when we can finally do something, the feeling we get will be amazing. Amen. Well, that concludes our that concludes our collective worship for today. Remember, work hard, be kind, look after yourselves, and failure are steps towards success. I'll see you around school.
Come on. Y'all can stand to your feet. It's our last jam. We gon' get out the way. But one day it won't be like this. And you can tell the Lord, can't wait to see you. But in the meantime, I'ma hold it down. Come on, y'all. One day I won't cry no more. Can't wait till the day when people won't die no more. Daddies won't say bye no more, or lie no more. And in the streets, bullets won't fly no more. Won't feel no pain no more. Won't have to push pull, won't have to strain no more. Won't have to wait lane no more. Won't have to play the game no more. One day we're taking off, baby, and ever since the Lord saved me, I've been waiting for the day we can say it's all gravy. It's all crazy trying to see life when it's all hazy. How can I persist to do right when I'm all lazy? Feel me? Too much pain all ails me. Vexed cause I can feel the effects of the fall daily. Pain in my chest is strong. Let's get on. Come Lord, quick, bring on your eschaton. In the search, start the new earth. Flex your true worth. Honor your son, let him come, perfect the new birth. And we don't gotta prove that God is cool. Just knowing God is through, no more godless rule. I'm anxious to praise the ancient of days. My praise still amazing how I can see the pain is a phase. Soon to be eclipsed at the sun's return. When we get what he gives and not what we earn. One day I won't cry no more. Can't wait till the day when people won't die no more. Daddies won't say bye no more or lie no more.